Hey guys, it's Barrett with the Gimping Camper. So today we're currently staying at one of our favorite places. This is the boondocking area. They call it Nomad View. Some people call it the Badlands boondocking area. That's actually what it's on Google Maps as, is Badlands boondocking area. But we have an excellent video showing you how to get here if you're interested in staying in this great place. It's our favorite place we've ever been, but that's on our previous video about the Badlands and Wall that we did last time we were here, and I'll link that up here. This is just a couple miles outside of the gate at the Badlands Park, and you're right between there and Wall, South Dakota at Wall Drug. So that makes this a nice centrally located place. So you do have a little bit of a town close by. There's a grocery store there, as well as a couple other things. And we did learn on this trip that if you need to get water or use a dump station, you can go to the Cedar Pass campground that's in the Badlands Park. Now it is all the way on the other side, but they do have a dump station that you can use there for $1, as well as they have potable water that you can fill up. It's the only place I've actually found the few days that we've been here so far where I can fill my water up. I did use one day, I used the grocery store here in town, but they did charge 55 cents a gallon, but it was storming like no tomorrow. So I was like, it's worth paying 55 cents a gallon for water at the moment. So I got 18 gallons because I got my 3 6-gallon tanks that we take with us. But what I want to focus on today is actually our trip around the Needles Highway through Custer State Park and then up at Mount Rushmore. I want to walk you through that. You know, when we were here last time, we did just enough of this stuff to know that we want to come back. I also want to say that we do use an app. The app we have linked to an affiliate link actually to the bottom of every video we have because we fell in love with it when we were here. It used to be called the Gypsy app, now it's called the Guide Along app, but they have different audio tours that you download ahead of time, so that way if you don't have service in the park, it still works. But whenever you drive across certain GPS points, it automatically starts telling you about the history and different things around the area. And also when you come up to like an intersection, it tells you like, if you turn left, you're gonna see this. If you're gonna turn right, you're gonna see this. So we highly recommend this app. You know, it's not on the cheapest side of things. I think that usually you can buy a bundle for $15 or $20 that has a couple of different parks in it. And the one for this park has the Badlands Park, and it has Deadwood, which we've not done yet. We plan to do this time. And we also do the Needles Highway over in the Black Hills, and that's what we're going to go over today, was our trip around there. Now last time we never even heard of the Needles Highway. We started driving toward the Black Hills, and the app started playing just by itself because it was on in the background, and it said, I hope you devoted 6 to 8 hours to this trip. And I was like, what in the world? I was just planning on driving to Mount Rushmore and Crazy Horse. I didn't know there was anything else over there. So it caught us by surprise, and I'm glad it did. You know, we got a late start at that time. It was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon because I couldn't get the wife out of the camper. She's putting on her makeup, having to be all prettied up and stuff. It took me a while to get her out, but I'm glad that we did try to do that, and we did do the Needles Highway and everything on the app then, but we didn't take a lot of time to stop and look around at different things. And so on this trip, we did do that. I do plan on going back to Custer because you got to get a week-long pass. And so we want to explore the park a little bit more, and we're still going to go do the Deadwood part as well, and so we'll update you with that as we go along. So we did start our trip over at the Crazy Horse Memorial. As we made it over that way, we passed through the small town of Keystone. You know, I will say that Keystone, I don't know what it is, it just reminds me of those old Westfield towns. It's a pretty small area, but they got it all prettied up. And I don't know what it is about the town, but I really like it. But I have a feeling that, the locals here, they look at it like our version of like Gatlinburg back home in Tennessee. And it's where all the people that aren't from here probably like to go and hang out for a while, but all the people that are here, see all the tourist traps and stuff, and they're like, meh, I don't want no part of that. So after we got to the Crazy Horse Memorial, I let my daughter walk around and check some stuff out there at the museum because she's never been there before. We did have the dog in the truck, so we didn't stay too long. I did, get the dog out a little bit and let my daughter walk around inside a little bit more by herself so she could explore a little bit more because she'd never been there, and it does have a lot of interesting stuff there in the museum. And, we took a look at the Crazy Horse, and from what I can tell, since the time we were here a couple of years ago to now, they did clean out underneath the hand a little bit where he's pointing, and clean the fingernail out a little bit there. But that's something that You don't see a whole lot of progress on as time goes, but you do see them still making some progress, so that's good. After the Crazy Horse Memorial, we made our way down to the Needles Highway. You know, this is where our audio tour started. And for those of you that don't know, Needles Highway is about 14 miles long, and it travels through some crazy small rock tunnels and through Custer State Park. It takes you along some beautiful mountains and rock spires as well. The first tunnel that you're going to come across is called the Needles Eye Tunnel, and this one is excessively narrow, and it does kind of start going along that way. You've got to make a pretty sharp left-hand turn. It kind of, you're like, where's the road at when you first go? But you see it. But it is only one lane, and it is pretty tight. But I have seen some dualies go through there with just a little bit room to spare. But truthfully, in my 2500, it still makes me a little bit nervous with the mirrors folded in, because it's pretty tight fit in there. However, when we were going through the other side, we did pass a bus that said Rushmore Tours on it. I want to show you that here. And it was getting ready to go through there. And ironically, it had a sign on the front of it that said student driver, which is kind of crazy actually. But you know, I stopped at an overlook right past there, and we kind of watched the bus go through. And it did go through pretty slowly, but it surely made it. So, you know, that guy's got some cojones that I don't have, driving a bus through there, but you know, more power to him. Then you're going to go through some different vantage points and some more rock formations, and then you'll go through a second tunnel and eventually make it to the entrance of Custer State Park. Now you do have to buy a pass to enter the state park, just like I said, and that pass is $20 for a week or $36 for a year. But you do have to purchase the pass in order to keep going along the Needles Highway. And right past the entrance of the park, you're going to run into Sylvan Lake. And I can't ever help but stop and walk around the lake a little bit while we're there, because it's one of the most beautiful lakes that I've ever seen because of all the rock formations and stuff around there. Apparently this lake was man-made, but it's just a very beautiful area. They've done a lot of work on the state park right there as well since we were there last time. It looked like they were building a big like event center or something like that right there by the lake. And that it's just a beautiful area, and I highly recommend that you stop and hang out there for a little while. You can rent some kayaks and stuff like that there at the lake as well. Another side trip that I highly recommend that you do while you're in the park is definitely do the wildlife loop. Obviously this is going to be better early in the morning or later in the evening when it's not so hot, but every time we've ever done that, which is only twice I'll admit, but every time we've ever done it, we've seen a whole lot of buffalo. This time we did get stuck in a buffalo jam, which is what the locals here call it when the buffalo get in the road and they block things up for a little while. You're often going to see the bison, you're going to see some burros roaming freely. Just remember, there's no petting the fluffy cows. They can get pretty close to your car. Please don't get out of your car if they're right there. I mean, obviously if they're a ways away, you can get out of your car and take pictures and stuff. But last time we were here, we saw people like walking across the fields to the buffalo. Don't do that. That just gets you in trouble, can get you hurt pretty bad, or even worse. But you know, if the park catches you, then you're gonna be in some deep doo-doo. Because you always at least want to stay close to your car where you do have some shelter and you can get back in if they get a little bit too close. Now we learned last time that you are allowed to feed the burros. So we just had to stop at Walmart in Rapid City on the way over there just for this occasion, so that my wife and daughter could get them some carrots and some apples, and they enjoyed the heck out of that food. My wife was nice and she shared the carrots and stuff with another family that was there that didn't also realize on their first time there that you were allowed to feed the burros. So some other animals that you're going to see fairly often along here include pronghorn antelope and some prairie dogs. You may even be lucky enough to see some deer, some mountain goats, some bighorn sheep, river otters, or even cougars. However, all these were very elusive to us when we've been there in the park. Now, as you come out of the park, you can connect back on the Needles Highway, and the tour is just going to start picking you right up there, and it's going to take you out of the park down Iron Mountain Road. Now, Iron Mountain Road's technically different than the Needles Highway, but it's all a continuous loop. And this is the way that all this was designed for you to go into when you were going to see Mount Rushmore. And you're going to find out why in just a second, because this is an awesome journey. Unfortunately, it did start raining along this part of our route, and so it did kind of mess up our footage a little bit and didn't allow for some good picture taking, but I highly recommend that you go this way. There are some beautiful bridges and tunnels that actually frame out Mount Rushmore as you're driving through, and it puts Mount Rushmore in the background like of the tunnel when you're driving through. And it's a very unique drive, and the road's carved into the side of the mountain in a very specific way, which causes the focus on Mount Rushmore to just be phenomenal. So then we finished our loop at Mount Rushmore. It was our daughter's first time, so of course we had to stop and get out and go up and take it all in, take a few pictures, and it was a great day. As we mentioned before, you can take the same exact tour path that we did and learn all about the history and all about the area and the things you're seeing with the guide along tour. We do highly recommend it. We do have the link in the description down there, and if you use it, it does help the channel a little bit. You know, I don't sell a lot of these tours. I've only sold 2 in like the 2 years that I've been having the links there, but I do really love the tour, and I really think it's worth the money. And if you want to invest just a little bit to make your trip a lot better, I highly recommend it. We've used it for here, we've used it for the Tetons, we used it for Yellowstone, and we've been happy at all of those places with the tours, and we were glad we spent our money on it. So like I said, we do plan on going back and spending some more time at the park. Maybe we'll update another little video there. But you know, I really like this area. I'm glad that we came back here and that we're going to have more time to explore. And I'm kind of ready to go into the Deadwood area and see what all that's about. And so, you know, hopefully we'll take you guys along with us. I just want to say thanks for being a part of our family. Thanks for joining our videos, and thanks for just following our adventures. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you hadn't, and like this video. That helps our channel tremendously. It helps show that people actually like our content and shares it with more people.
Do not forget to hit that subscribe button.